Alright, I'm getting ready to go on a minimalist camping trip solo. Now this is not a bare minimalist trip where you go with absolutely nothing but what you got in your pockets. This is going to be kind of a comfort minimalist trip. So I thought what I would do is go over my items kind of left to right and show you guys what I'm going to pack and how I'm going to pack it up. The first thing over on the left that's burnt orange color, that's my water bottle. You've probably seen it before. Directly underneath that is my cook kit, which is just a GSI stainless steel kettle, and beside that is a wooden spoon that I carved. The next camouflage looking thing by my water bottle is my headlamp. That is a Petzl Tika. Beside that is my Mora clipper, and beside the clipper is my my blasphemous replacement for a Mora. That is a Skookum bush tool, which is just exceeding my expectations. I'll do a video on that guy one of these days. Above that is my journal with a lead pencil. Beside the knives is my food store, which is going to be let's see, there's peanuts, raisins, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds because it is October, and a batch of ash cake mix there at the top. That's all in one giant Ziploc bag. But let's see, at the very top is my rain poncho. It's going to be an integral part of my shelter that I'm going to make. In the middle, the blue thing is my wilderness survival kit. You guys have seen the majority of the contents of that in the past. Beside that is a length of paracord, which will be used probably for a ridge line. That is right beside my shemagh, which is just a useful piece of fabric. Next to that is my hygiene kit, which is just toilet paper and hand sanitizer, essentially. All these items are setting on top of a red multi-mat or casualty blanket, and that is basically a reflective mylar on one side and red on the other. I can't remember the dimensions of that. Underneath that is a small piece of it's a Thermarest Z-Lite, but it's cut up. It's just big enough for a knee pad, basically. Something to sit down on. All of these items are resting on top of my wool blanket. And now I'm going to go ahead and show you how I'm going to carry them. Ready to go. How could I have forgotten one of my favorite things? My bow drill bow. Alright, now we're ready. My destination is going to be just up on that shelf. Alright, I've just gotten started on my trip and I thought I'd go ahead and take a quick pause and give you guys an update on my clothing. It's about 50 degrees right now with the wind blowing, so it feels like it's about 40. I'm expecting temperatures to drop as low as 35 degrees. This is all Fahrenheit tonight, so it's going to be a little chilly. So in addition to what I'm wearing, I've also got some thermal underwears that I packed. You can actually see it on the top. And a pair of heavy wool socks, and that's going to be probably for when the sun goes down. It's about probably 9 o'clock in the morning right now. My shirt, this is a pretty heavy-duty Woolrich Stag shirt. It's pretty warm, so I think I'm good to go on clothing. I need to focus on getting a shelter built, and that's probably what the majority of my time is going to be spent doing today. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started going where I'm going and show you guys what there is to see along the way. Looks like, actually it looks like a deer has pawed at this and that. Uh-oh. It's probably a deer. Looking for acorns, I'd bet. Here's the sort of features that I like to look for when I'm gonna have to build a shelter in the woods. This is a fallen pine tree. As you can see, it's spanning a, we call them a draw in this part of the world. It kind of goes up the mountain. It's basically like a ditch, but it's a deep ditch. And I'm up on the side of one of these draws, which is a good thing. You don't want to be down in them because you're going to get cold air on you all night. And you don't want to be on top of this ridge because you're going to be victim to the wind all night long. This fallen tree would provide me a very decent ridge pole if I were going to build a low to the ground debris hut. I don't think I'm going to pick this spot for a couple of reasons. The clearance area between the ground and the tree is pretty low. I'd actually probably have to dig the ground out maybe 6 inches or so in order to fit in there relatively easily. And you know, it's just not really worth it. I will definitely take note of this spot and come back here if I can't find anything else. But for now, I'm going to keep searching. I feel like I should point out something about the weather. When I made the first part of this video, it was sunny and like, you know, 65 degrees when I was at home. And now that I'm in North Georgia, the temperature is incredibly cooler. I know I mentioned earlier, but it's supposed to get darn near freezing tonight, which shouldn't be a problem, but it was like no adjustment time whatsoever. It went from sunny California to freezing cloud forest in 24 hours. I've been walking for about 45 minutes, looking and stopping and thinking, trying to find a suitable place. Up ahead I see a rock outcrop. It might provide something suitable. I don't know till I get there. Alright, I'm back at this rock. I just can't pass it up. It's a perfect fire reflector, so this is the spot I'm gonna go ahead and commit to it and get started building it. As you can see, the wind, if you can see the leaves, is actually blowing up mountain. So what I'm gonna do is have my fire built right here, and my tarp is gonna be running diagonally downhill. Now I know on the side of a mountain, generally you don't want the mouth of your shelter facing uphill because the cold air is gonna come down at night. But with this awesome flat reflector rock, I'm not gonna have to worry about that. The spot that I've chosen is a little downward sloping, but I'm on the side of a mountain, and it's very hard to find a perfectly level spot to put a bed. So what I'm gonna do to fix this is this pine right here. I'm gonna break it, and I'm gonna put it parallel with my reflector, about 5 feet apart. Then with I'm gonna build a bed of leaves and other leaf litter right beside the log. And that's where I'm gonna lay long ways with my fire. This will make more sense once I get it going. But like I said earlier, I'm gonna go ahead and commit to this spot and get started working, because it is actually, it's getting colder. About every 20 minutes or so that goes by, it feels like it's dropping about maybe 1.5 degrees or maybe even 2 degrees. It's still relatively warm, but it is definitely cooling down, so I'm gonna get started. So I'm standing up on top of the reflector rock right now, and I managed to get the pine log downhill, and that's going to provide me with a backstop, and I'm going to put leaf litter and other debris all along this area right here to raise the ground level up and provide me some insulation so I don't lose heat to the ground tonight. Went ahead and dug into my pack because I'm going to get my 72-hour wilderness survival kit out. This has got an item in it that I'm going to utilize tonight to help keep me warm and up off the ground. The contractor bag, the 55-gallon drum liner, I'm going to use as an impromptu ground pad. This is going to be filled with all the leaf litter, and it's probably going to be more comfortable than a thermarest. looks like a bean bag. This is going to be my ridge line for my tarp. As you can see, I've got my blaze orange prusik loops already attached. And over here, my ridge line actually wasn't going to be long enough to anchor to the tree that I wanted to anchor to, so the short piece of paracord that I keep in my pocket came to the rescue. I've joined these together using bowlines. The reason I use a bowline is because bowlines are super easy to untie once they've been stressed, and by the time I cinch this down, it's going to be very, very, very tight. Now I'm just securing my tarp to the prusik with absolutely nothing fancy. This is just a, well, let's do it backwards so you can see it better. This is just a kind of a slip square knot. Really nothing fancy at all. I'll just pull the excess through like this. And it cinches down pretty good. So I went ahead and finished everything up and made some final adjustments. I had to lower my ridge line because the pitch of my tarp was a little steep, and I was catching quite a bit more wind than I wanted, especially now that the wind has actually started to shift and it's going down the mountain. It's probably 5 degrees colder right now than it was when I started. The top of my tarp is lower than the reflector rock, and that's really helping out a lot with the wind. So now that I'm pretty much set as far as my shelter goes, I'm going to go ahead and gather firewood. Oh, I want to show you how I did the back. What I did with the log is I anchored my tarp directly to the log and kind of rolled it around the circumference a little bit. It's gonna, you know, just kind of help seal up the back of my shelter. The temperature is definitely dropping. I haven't seen the sunshine all day long. The wind is starting to pick up. I'm sitting in my fire pit right now at the moment, just looking back into my shelter and showing that the wind in here is far less than the wind outside. I'm able to light my lighter and keep it lit. The wind's going to be a factor. It's always going to be a factor, but I think I've got a pretty good edge on it for the night. Also, I got a pretty good pile of firewood. I got some pretty good fuel sources right there, and my big pieces right up top. I'm going to put these on as I am going to go to sleep right here and burn them in half and feed them in as the night progresses. Every so often, actually it's pretty regularly, I was getting a blast of Arctic wind out of the west. So I decided, since I brought my poncho up, I may as well use it. Unfolded it and went ahead and windproofed the west side of my shelter. Now, there's very little wind getting in here at all. This is going to be majorly helpful tonight. Also, some more knotcraft at its finest. My top corner of my poncho I secured to the ridgeline with a slippery taut line hitch. Now, this works just like a regular taut line hitch. You slide it up. It's just real quick to undo. I pull this and it's undone. Very handy. So this is pretty much how it's gonna go tonight. I have to say, right now I'm pretty comfortable. The temperature it's not warm outside at all right now. It's probably in the low 50s outside right now, maybe even 49 degrees. And I've got a very wind-resistant shelter built right here. This is good. I'm under my wool blanket, not because I need to be, but I'm just kind of getting in and as I'm going to be tonight to make sure there's nothing else I need to do. Pretty much the only thing that I don't like about traveling like this minimalist mindset is my stuff is kind of strewn about. I don't have a bag once I take my kit apart. Once I take my wool blanket out and use it, I don't really have a bag. So that might be something that I think about adding as some sort of, you know, maybe like a small laundry bag or something that I can just throw everything in and keep it in one place. Really good wind. Pretty happy I put my poncho down over there. Anyway, this is going to be my view from inside the shelter, staring straight at my fire pit. Of course, I'll move my knee pad, but yeah, I'm looking forward to getting the fire started. So yeah, as it is right now, I'm just kind of huddled up. Not that it's super cold right now, I'm just, you know, I don't want to waste my energy walking around. I don't want to get hot and sweaty. I've got enough firewood, so I've just decided to get in the shelter and kind of just relax for a little while before I get up and make the fire and cook supper. It's about, I really don't know what time it is right now. I'd estimate about 4:45, maybe almost 5 o'clock. So I've got a couple hours of daylight left until I'll be crawling in here for real. But right now I'm really comfortable, to be perfectly honest with you, and I'm not coming out for a little while. So if this were an actual, you know, wilderness survival situation, what I would be doing is what I'm doing right now. I'm sitting still and I'm doing as much as I can to regulate my core body temperature. I'm wrapped up in my blanket, I've got all my layers of clothing on, and I'm sitting still. I'm not out doing a whole lot of stuff. I got my hard work done earlier, and I don't want to re-exert myself. I don't want to get sweaty. It's getting late in the day, and even though when I build this fire, this shelter is going to be incredibly warm, right now I'm conserving my firewood, so I really don't want to do anything unless I have to. And even though, like I said, this is, you know, this is just kind of a for the fun of it trip, I'm still gonna, you know, act appropriately. I'm not gonna go wander around like I really want to really bad until dark and then come back. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna probably just write in my journal and snack a little bit, and when the sun starts to go down for real and it really starts to get dark, that's when I'll get my fire going. But I mean, that's the responsible thing for me to be doing. Sun's definitely going down. It's too bad. I can see the the warming rays, or what's left of them, down in the valley. And they never got up here. I'm getting ready to start my fire, but not just yet. Trying to hold out until it's just a little bit darker. I don't know why, but I'm not really all that cold. So I'm trying to wait. As long as I can before I get my fire started. Alright, I'll get the fire going. It's about time. So what I've got going on here is a little different than I'd originally planned. I was just going to kind of do a long log fire parallel with my reflector rock, but I don't know. It's easier for me to feed the fire if I just have the logs over toward where I'm sleeping, and now I can just push them towards the coal bed as needed. This way I won't have to get up so often. I can just reach out and push forward. Seems to be working a lot better. It's sort of unbelievable how warm it is under this shelter. I don't know if you can see the reflective action happening, but it's really, really nice. So the warmest I've been all day. Rice and beef bouillon. Delicious. Mmm. You know, you may not think it would be, but a simple rice dinner, flavored right, is pretty darn delicious. I think the ash cake needs turning. Fresh off the griddle. I mean ground. It's 3:30 in the morning right now, and I just woke up. I've been waking up pretty much every 2 hours and feeding the fire. It's definitely colder outside, but I am maintaining a nice, comfortable temperature underneath this reflective mylar. It's really great. I can tell that it's gotten much colder outside, but the wind has dropped tremendously. The wind is it's just not blowing like it was, which makes it so bearable. I mean, earlier today it was 50 degrees, and I was huddled up in my blanket because it was so windy. I was freezing. But now it's easily 30. It's in the high 30s out there right now, with much less wind, and it's it's completely bearable. Anyway, this is a quick update of the night. Alright, 7:50 in the morning. The sun is about to peek over the horizon, and I am awake. My fire, I let it burn down. I quit feeding it at about 6:30. I put the last bit of wood on it, and now I've got 1 or 2 small pieces of thumb-sized fuel on it. I'm just going to heat up some breakfast and walk down the mountain. Oatmeal. A very welcome sight. Once I got out from under my shelter, the wind picked up again, and it's really cold this morning. It's 9 o'clock now. I've been up here a solid 24 hours. I've already broken down camp, and I'm going to walk back to my vehicle. And then I'm going to pack a real backpack full of water and walk back up here and make sure that my fire is out, because that's a responsible thing to do. I don't think that I'll be filming the second voyage back up here, just because it probably won't be that interesting. But this was my minimalist trip. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. I didn't get cold. I was very, very happy in my shelter. I wasn't cold at all. This morning when I got out moving around, I warmed up, but it was definitely cold once I got out of my shelter. Nice. I didn't expect it to be that cold because I woke up so warm. Anyway, whatever. The trip's over. I'm glad you guys are viewing my videos. It's very nice and fun. I don't know. I'm glad you guys are. Thanks for. So as always, thanks for watching. Just to prove to you guys, because I know there will be at least one person that says, you didn't really walk back up there and make sure that fire was out. Here I am. I hauled tail up here because I'm ready to get going with the day. And I have 2 gallons of water, 2 Ziploc bags, plus my water bottle. By the way, people always ask about transporting water in a Ziploc bag. It ain't that hard. Alright, I'm not gonna film this whole process. You get the point.